You're watching News 24 Live. Robert Daniels from the Western Cape Government's Emergency Medical Services Department joins us in studio again, this time to discuss road safety ahead of the holiday season. As we know, it always yields a high death toll on South Africa's roads. Robert, thanks very much for coming in again.
Thanks for having me.
And again, unfortunately, discussing a somewhat sort of morbid topic, but essential.
It is what it is, but I have to know what's going on.
Now, Robert, this past weekend, we had a horrific accident near Vereeniging, a taxi hitting a truck, apparently due to it being overloaded. And I believe on the eve of the sort of red zone of sort of the really dangerous holiday season. So, yeah, highlighting how sort of vigilant people need to be.
Yeah, it is a huge concern, and obviously there are many factors contributing to those sorts of accidents, but the main ones being still, for emergency medical service, the main concern at this time of the year is our pedestrians, and then of course our drivers not being prepared to be on these roads for these long periods of time.
Now you say pedestrian and stuff, I mean, whenever I think of the holiday season, I'm sure most people out there as well, you think of long trips, long trips down to the coast, and of course there are various sort of safety checks which are vital. Do you want to start with some of those, particularly around, let's start with planning your journey. What are sort of some things you could recommend for drivers?
Well, what people tend to do is get into their vehicles after work, bundle the whole family in there, and off they go. It's actually more correct to do a few basic checks first. Things like, is my driver's license valid? Is my vehicle roadworthy and checked? And is there a spare wheel? Is everyone well rested? That sort of thing. If the driver isn't well rested, that's something you might want to consider checking up on and getting it right the next time around. But yeah, there are a few basic things we can do up front to ensure a safer journey for ourselves and our families.
You were saying earlier, particularly if you've got kids in the back seat, it's worthwhile planning your trip using GPS, or even getting the kids to sort of.
Yeah, everyone has a
the sort of thinking behind that.
Well, everyone has a smartphone these days, and the kids are really good at playing with or using these things. So I'm thinking things like having the kids in the car plan your journey for you. I mean, involve the kids. Why do they have to be an irritant or irritation when they can actually be assisting and getting involved in your journey planning? It's something that we dread doing, but I mean, there are spectators and guys who are bored in the back of the car who could just as well be assisting you with that, and they could look up the towns ahead, what sightseeing opportunities in the next town, that sort of thing. Keep them occupied, keep them entertained, using your smartphones, your GPS, your tablets, and getting them involved in the journey planning and the journey structuring.